experience versus what else is out there on the market.
Gotcha.
And so the beginning part of the project was not really about engineering. It was more about going out and visiting people's shops and talking, lots of interviews to really try to understand where people were coming from.
Yeah, yeah. And uh, that's one thing I noticed a lot initially when I got my X-Carve was a lot of the articles I was getting sent. It was really targeted towards people that are really wanting to turn this into maybe not a full-time job, but like a side income. Did you guys find that was like your market as you got going, or did you think it was going to be something different when you guys first start out with the X-Carve?
That was our ambition.
Okay.
Um, the the vision is that we're trying to bring manufacturing technology into the hands of millions of people. And if you look around today, even where this technology is mostly, it's in big companies, big factories. And obviously, over the last few years, there's been a lot more going on in the hobbyist realm. But our ambition is to really bring it to millions of people. And so we're trying to make it a lot easier to use
Yeah.
and focus on how you can make money with it and how you can be more productive with it, as opposed to trying to, either have the lowest price or have the most bells and
Yeah,
whistles.
yeah. So do you guys see yourself then in between those two, kind of the hobbyist DIY market and on one end, and then the really high end pro, like crazy shop on the other end? Is that kind of what you're
Yeah,
seeing? Okay.
yeah. We're trying to make it so if you're running a business, like this is the best option for getting ROI. And if it's a owner operator business, um, there's a range. Some people have lots of technical skills. Other people have no technical skills to start. And so we're trying to make it as easy as possible, especially for those with no technical skills, to get going and start making money. And then also, if you're a larger business, we did a lot of interviews where, let's say there's 15, 20 people in the business. Oftentimes, those folks have one or two people that are trained to operate their CNC machine. And some cases, that person leaves the business, there's nobody else who can jump in. And when you're a hobbyist, or you're just doing it for passion, you've got the time to spend to read all the tutorials and go through all the training. But if you're running a business, and you've got orders coming in, nobody's got time to sit down there and do it.
Hmm.
So it needs to be easy enough where they can take somebody who basically has no background or experience and put them in front of it and get going now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we're trying to optimize for.
Yeah. Yeah. So going into it, like what were kind of the key things you wanted to either change or upgrade from the original X-Carve?
Yeah, so one is bigger. Like
Right.
I think like the first X-Carve, we had the 500 millimeter, and then the seven, and then later in the second generation, we added the 750, um, and I think we always had the 1,000. I'd have to check the percent, but uh, last year we discontinued the 500 and the 750, because if there's been one piece of feedback everybody's given over the years, it's bigger, bigger,
Right.
bigger. And it just seems like no matter how big we make it, people want bigger. And we asked a lot of folks, like, what are you trying to make? And we designed the orientation of the machines based on
Yeah.
that. And so that's why we've got the 4 foot by 2 foot and the 4 foot by 4 foot. We looked at doing a 4x8, but a lot of folks said while they wanted it, they really didn't have space to put a 4x8 in their shop.
Yeah.
And ones that did have space for it said that in their business now, like often a lot of them had a 4x8, but they were only using the front quarter or the front
I
half
gotcha.
for most jobs. Like obviously, some people are doing bigger things where every job is using the full 4x8, but a lot of them, you could even see the wear lines in that front quarter, where they're making something that only uses that front quarter. And so it we did, I mean, just simple straightforward calculation is if you have four of the 4x2s, you can go four times as fast as one 4x8,
Right.
just because you're doing them all at the same time. And so for a lot of businesses, like, that was compelling because time is money on those jobs. And if you could do it four times faster, it's more profitable because the labor is actually the most expensive part of the project.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The I have, I guess, the 750. The RIP no longer exists, but I have the same thing because I make like 12 by 12, or no, they're a little bit bigger, like signs, like football stadium signs. And I was telling my wife the other
Yeah,
day, I was like, I need to get a bigger one because I can only do like one at a time. I could totally batch these out. And she's like, why don't you stick with what you got right now? But that's neat. So one of the things that I thought was really cool when I first saw you guys announce it, or first of all, the picture was no longer you're using like a DeWalt router. So you have an integrated spindle. It's variable speed. Is that right? So how
that's right.
did,
Yeah,
did you guys know from the get-go like that needed to be part of the system?
absolutely. The DeWalt, it was great to get going. Um, Obviously, it requires a separate plug, um, and it doesn't have precise control over the RPM.
Yeah.
So you're doing that dial, which is like 1 to 6. And so we knew that for a pro machine, you needed to have a variable speed control and a VFD. What we wanted to do was there's lots of folks that had challenges programming the VFD and getting it going and then supporting it, especially if you're building your own, there's just a lot of complexity with the VFD and then maintaining it if there's error codes and things like that. And so we wanted to just get rid of all that complexity and make it super easy. It's just plug and play, right? Like
Mhm.
click the button carve and everything turns on, as opposed to having it be the standalone component um, that you got to mess with.
Yeah. So does that all come just through when you make your toolpath in Easel? It's sending like the program stuff to the VFD. Is that how that works?
Exactly.
That's cool.
We added some new functionality to Easel where it's controlling the spindle speed,
Okay.
and we're actually in the process right now. We're doing over 2,000 tests where we take each bit and then the recommended feeds and speeds, spindle speed, chip loads, et cetera, from the manufacturer and testing each chip load. So a chip load is just the thickness of the chips. So for example, it could be like 3,000s, 4,000s, 5,000s, and then testing it each step per pass, like 1 times the diameter of the bit, 2 times, 3 times for each material category,
Yeah.
to try to find that zone. So like it's not an exact science, right? It's like a zone, and you kind of get the ranges of rougher but faster,
Right.
or more finished but slower. And so the thing is, it's about material removal rate, right? So a volumetric calculation.
Yeah.
It's not really like a linear calculation. So we're just trying to balance, what are those things to give the customer those tools so they can have a good starting point. And then we added the ability to save your personal settings. So if you find in that zone
I
what's
gotcha.
right for your application. And the thing we announced yesterday is that now you can actually save it not just in your account, but to the machine that you're working at. So
Okay.
if you have an X-Carve and X-Carve Pro, you can have two different save
Yeah,
settings.
that's sweet. So then, so it sounds kind of like how you can set like a custom speed currently. Like it gives you the recommended depending on the bit and the size and the material. So same kind of idea. You can go in there and dial it in as you need to.
Exactly. So for X-Carve Pro, we've added another field, um, so you can say that as
That's
well.
cool. So have people? I think I've seen a couple people post that they've already got it, but what's it been like actually getting it in the hands of people after all these years of like making it?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. So I think we got the first one in January. I think it was January of this year, um, maybe February. This year's been like a blur just because of
Yeah,
everything that's
it's
going on.
crazy.
And I remember like when I walked up to it, I was like, "Wow, this is
Yeah.
big!" Like relative. My whole frame of reference is the X-Carve. So you walk up to this thing and you're like, "This is a beast." So it was just really cool to see it myself. And then I think we got the second batch in March or April. Um, and so again, they're all internal units. I think the first external units came over the summer.
Okay.
Um, and so, yeah, like to see people's reaction and hear their faces when they see it in person, they're like, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I saw Johnny Builds post something. I guess this morning at the time of this recording. If you guys, since you announced yesterday, and he was doing, I think like tea or some slots in the back of like this massive table. I'm like, that totally makes sense. That's cool. So, are you seeing people do different things as a result, or are they still kind of getting their mind around the possibilities around it?
Yeah. So like some of the pictures that you saw yesterday, like that table, um, it was made by a local designer. I mean, it's just beautiful,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, obviously, you couldn't do that on an X-Carve, just because of the size. And the other thing is, in terms of like depth per pass, like in the testing, we've seen, 3/4 inch depth per pass with a 1/4 inch bit, and it's just cutting through like butter.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, obviously bigger things, but then also much higher material removal rates.
Yeah, yeah. So are you guys selling different bits now as well? Like, are you selling like thicker 1/4 inch or even 1/2 inch bits as a result of it?
Yeah, so we're looking at adding. We're in the process of adding more bits. It also comes with it comes with a 1/4 inch bit. It comes with a planing bit, and it comes with a V bit. So day one, you'll get started. But like what I was telling somebody internally is like the machine just wants to use a 1/4 inch bit. Like the 1/8 inch bits,
Right.
you're like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I remember using, I guess, a 1/4 inch for the first time. It's like, wow, this is way faster. The stuff that I can do with it. That's neat.
It
So
really changes your mindset when you get the feel of it. Like you just want to make bigger stuff.
yeah, yeah. So what is there a single feature that like just makes you the most excited when you look at it?
I think it's the tiling. It is just I made a couple things myself, and it's just so cool to be able to like this is my shop, right? Like I'm in a basement, and obviously I can't fit a 4 foot by 8 foot machine in here, but to be able to have that option to meet it
Yeah,
is pretty cool.
that's cool. So how does the tiling work then? Like I get where you create it in Easel, but for people that didn't see the demo yesterday, from like the software to the
Yeah,
physical, like how does that walk us through kind of how that works?
yeah. So on one, so the machine has clamp holes outside of the cut area, and so you install like a little bump stock there. So you have one uh, like wall that you can slide the material on.
Okay.
And in Easel, when you design it, obviously it's larger than the cutting area, and so you tell Easel, okay, cut the front, it cuts it, and then there's a little walkthrough wizard that says, please move it this many inches, depending on what size you pick for your material, and then you advance it that many inches, click carve again, and it does the back, and it has an inch overlap in between the first carve and the second carve.
Yeah.
If you want to do so, imagine the one of the application we showed yesterday. I guess there's two. The piece of artwork that's border to border, and so the method is to use the measurements. But like the table, you can have registration holes outside of the design
Oh, cool.
and do pins into the wasteboard, and then you can do it based on registration,
Yeah.
and obviously it'll be more precise than lining it up by measurement, but it just depends what you're trying to do.
So can you do like two-sided milling? Like I know you can create like your G code externally and import it, but like could you use that tiling feature to do like something on the flip side? Like is that a thing you guys have looked at?
I haven't tried it. Why not?
Okay, right, right.
But you can also just make
Right,
another
right. Just
workstation and
make
do
it.
the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense. So they're pre-order right now, and you guys are shipping them in
yeah.
next April. Is that right?
That's when they'll be going out to
Gotcha.
customers. Yeah,
How had
we've got a couple more builds in between now and then.
Okay, gotcha. Um, how has all the crazy coronavirus stuff like affected you guys? Like you said, you guys got your second unit or first unit like in March, so right when we all shut down, and then you guys are launching with everyone.
Yeah,
Because I mean, you're working from home, right?
I
Yeah,
am. Yeah, so yeah, it caused a little bit of delay,
yeah,
just because it's a physical product, and those first couple of weeks, it was crazy.
yeah, yeah.
So we're at home, and like everything was just at the office and in the lab. Um, but we started like sending people in one at a time, like in I can't remember what month it is now. Uh, and now we have full PPE and protocols in place for folks to go in safely. But the office staff is all working remotely,
Gotcha.
and so people are only going in on an as-needed basis when they need to work on hardware.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you guys assemble it there? Like, do you guys have your own like plant/workshop, or is that something that's offloaded and then you guys ship out directly?
Yeah, so we have like a lab,
Okay,
and we have a warehouse where we do some light kitting. But for this product, um, it's getting shipped to the customer, and then it takes like about an hour. I think Paul Jackman posted it took him like 45 minutes or an hour, something like that,
gotcha.
to put it
Oh,
together.
cool.
Um, we're also looking into on-site setup in addition to delivery.
Gotcha.
It's too heavy and too big to put on like UPS or FedEx, so
Right.
it's going to come like on a truck in like a crate. And we're looking at both fully assembled and in three parts. So like the gantry and like the two y-axis and the wasteboard. Um, just from a transportation perspective, like the trucks without the lift gate where it has the ramp,
Yeah.
if it's one big thing, like you physically can't get it down
Right.
because
Right.
it's 300, it's 300 pounds.
Dang. Is that which size?
And then the big one.
They're going. Okay.
And so then, if it's fully assembled and you want to, it just depends where you want to get it. If you need to go downstairs or something, like you kind of can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a little bit more convenient to have it in three parts. So then you can carry each part and physically assemble it at the location where you want it.
Gotcha. So the controller, you have to
Yeah.
have the X controller, but what does it look like? And like the interface, like are you still connecting it directly like Wi-Fi through or USB through to a computer, or what's that look like?
Yeah, it's still USB to a computer. We've got more substantial plugs,
Okay.
almost like the plug on your
Hmm.
microphone, that go into the box now. The box is obviously much bigger. It's got upgraded drivers,
Gotcha.
so more modern drivers on there, and it's also got the VFD in there,
Okay.
um, and active cooling to keep it cool in there. Sorry, not active cooling, passive cooling.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, looking at so the dust collection, that was another thing that I saw. I mean, it was in the picture. So I know before at one point that was like an add-in to the Inventables, and you guys like added that like coming straight from you guys. So that something that's built directly in dust collection?
Yeah, dust collection is definitely built directly in, and that's a redesign of the dust collector. It's more low
Oh,
profile,
cool.
so the suction's better. It actually picks up more dust than the old one, and it's also got a hole so you can see right through it, and it swings open this way, so it's much easier
Oh, awesome.
to change your bit.
Yeah.
And there's like a little snap thing that can hold it while you're manipulating it, and it's also got the conductive hose, so to remove the static buildup.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have one of. I think before you guys were even providing them, like it's one of those like 3D printed ones, and yeah, it's a pain to get off and all that kind of stuff. So on terms of the cost, I know that was something that some people were mentioning, but with you guys positioning it on the pro side, I feel like you had even like responded back. It's like you could do like a firm, and you could do a monthly thing, and so is that kind of how you want people thinking about it? Is this should be making you money if this is like something you want to get into? Okay.
I mean, the whole like package. It's not just a
Right.
machine, right? Like it's everything you need to succeed at a business. So that's why it comes with dust collection. It comes with the starter bits. It comes with a warranty. We've got an extra 3-year warranty. It obviously has like the service built in where you can call and we'll get you some help. Um, if there is a need for replacement parts, we've got 2 warehouses. We can get it to you very quickly, ship it out same day or next day, depending on the timing cutoff with FedEx. Um, it's very tightly integrated with the
Mhm.
software, right? So it's really designed as a system, not just a
Yeah.
machine. And it's designed for someone who just wants to focus on their business and not focus on tinkering and messing around with different components of
Yeah.
it.
Is that how you would kind of differ? I can't talk. The difference between it and like stuff either from like Avid or even some of the bigger machines I know like Shapeoko is doing. Is that kind of how you would distinguish it if folks are acting like how do you compare and contrast them?
Yeah, I've never used one of the Avid machines, but my understanding just from their website is they're selling it as a kit,
Yeah.
and it's up to you as the customer to, pick all the different components that you need for your situation, and then obviously build it and maintain it. And so, yeah, like our approach is, there's no configuration.
Right.
You just, and we give you everything you need to succeed. If something goes wrong, we're right there to help solve it for you. So it's more of a business solution
Yeah.
than something to be hacked or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which obviously there's different use cases. There's different people who are interested in different things, but we're definitely optimizing for people who just want it to work and have constant uptime.
So, so on the lower end then too, you guys continuing to sell the 1,000 millimeter unit? Is that right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yesterday was a great day for X-Carve sales.
Yeah.
Just because obviously there's a lot of attention,
Right.
and so that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I think yesterday might have been one of the biggest days in Inventables history.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Now you guys have a good.
Just for the.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying for both the new product launch and an increase in just normal sales.
That's awesome. Yeah. Now you guys have a good price anchor out there for the just the normal X-Carve. When Flex, like the Pro may be too expensive, but this one would totally work out. So are there updates on just the normal X-Carve you guys are thinking about or rolling out, or is it? I mean, I know you guys are doing a ton of work right now on the Pro side of things, but kind of what's that look like too?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really announced anything there yet, but
so maybe not.
Maybe.
That's cool.
I can't confirm or deny if there's any.
Yeah. So on the larger side of things, just with Inventables, so you guys were saying your mission is to get how many people?
Millions of people. So at least 2 million access to manufacturing technology. Yeah.
What was kind of the reasoning behind that? Like why this technology, like what excites you so much about this technology in general that you have like an audacious goal like that?
Yeah, so really for me, it started in high school. When I was in high school, I built a scale model roller coaster, which you can actually see part of right down there.
Oh, cool.
I've been working on it.
Yeah.
So the project was that got me into, that was the project that got me into the shop. So that track I did on the manual lathe, and then the car, which I think I have around here somewhere. It was the first project I did on a CNC mill.
Oh, cool.
And we used, I believe it was AutoCAD and Mastercam to do the cam and the tool pass. And then I can't remember the name of the CNC that we used, but you loaded up the G code and click over, and we were milling out mild steel plates.
That's cool.
And so that's where I got my first exposure to it. And I remember, as a high school kid, it was really hard to learn and like wrap your head around the concept of tool pass. Yeah. And I just wanted it to be like PowerPoint, like this is what I want.
Yeah.
Click, and then it carves it out. Why can't you do that? And obviously, you couldn't, especially then.
Yeah.
And so that always stuck with me through college and then through starting Inventables. So when we started CNC stuff, like it feels to me like if we can make it easy enough that people with ideas can get them out quickly and carve, you're just going to see so much more excitement and innovation, and so many more people starting businesses. And like the last decade or so, with a lot of manufacturing moving to other countries, it's really all the high volume manufacturing that's moving, right? Because of the labor costs, and even now overseas, they're using robots in the high volume manufacturing because the labor costs overseas are too expensive, right? So like, you're never going to win that game that you're going to be able to do high volume manufacturing with humans over time. Like labor costs gets expensive, or it'll just be all robots, and then obviously then you can do it. And so this is like, okay, that's cool. How do we? But then you see all this like trends with consumer products, right? Where people are not wanting to buy the ones made in China, right? Because it's like everyone has the same thing. They want mass customization, or the one that's unique for their taste, their situation. And obviously there's an explosion of Etsy and explosion of people just buying stuff on Instagram. And so the idea is like, okay, can you give the automation to the person and let them, obviously there's no tooling involved in a CNC, it's just ideas and design. And so if we can make it easy enough, there's millions of people who are designers or entrepreneurs or just creative people who don't have a background in manufacturing, but have lots of great ideas and have a love for a specific niche or
Mhm.
a type of product. They know a specific customer group, and I think that's what's exciting is like it's that knowledge of the application
Yeah.
that is really what unlocks the value. It's not so much about the technology.
Right.
Uh, I mean, CNCs have been around since like the late
Uh-huh.
1940s, 1950s. So, it's been 70 years.
Right. Right. They're just not in someone's garage back then.
It's not easy enough for most people to
Yeah.
use. Um,
And
yes.
that's always been the thing with Easel that I've loved because I can do like all the G code stuff in Fusion 360, doing the more advanced stuff, but like
Yeah.
still the majority of the time I'm like it's so much faster and easier just to drop this in Easel and export it. Like it's easy to do it this way.
Yeah. Like we have customers that use it in like very large
Mhm.
companies, doing government work, doing prototypes. And that's exactly what they say. They're like, I have access to 5-axis
Right.
machines. I have access to multi-$100,000 machines, but like, that has its place. It's a tool, right?
Yeah.
Walk into anybody's shop and they've got more than one tool,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like the whole wall of tools. So this is just yet another tool. And so, I don't get too bent out of shape negotiating or debating like this tool versus that tool. Like I love all tools,
Right.
and different people start to just gravitate to the right tool for the right job.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So one other question I had on just some of the specs, because um, I know you demoed a lot of wood stuff, but I mean you could do soft metals with this too, right?
Yeah, like in the video, it was cutting aluminum.
Okay.
Um, I was actually cutting aluminum I think it was last week, just to test it
Yeah,
out, and it cuts like
that's
butter.
awesome.
Like it is really awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I've a couple questions have come in. If you guys are watching, just drop them in the chat. But Gallagher Channel, I'm gonna say it wrong. He's just saying we made your sign that's right behind you. The make cool.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, and that was
It's awesome.
yeah, and when I think I've seen like all of the things that people can make with the CNC, like I see something like that, I'm like, wait, that's a neon, but it's not neon. They're doing this super cool stuff. So if you guys haven't seen their stuff, that's pretty,
It's super cool. It
yeah,
doesn't get hot. It's all
yeah,
LEDs. I love it.
yeah, it's really neat. Okay, so
So it was hanging in our office, and I took it home because there's nobody in our office.
right, and put it there, and then you get a backdrop for when you do these interviews. So that's cool. What about or so you mentioned the dust collection, and then yeah, you've already hit this, but so Once Upon a Workbench was just asking, do you see the pro still in kind of the maker community? So whether it's like make.com, Maker Faire, that world, do you see it still kind of fitting in that area?
I mean, I think that they're like all the lines on making stuff is blurring,
Right.
right? So obviously, there's little kids making stuff in grade school. I got my start with CNC in high school. Obviously, now a lot of kids are doing that earlier than that. People who are doing it at the hobbyist level. There's people who are doing it at part time. There's people doing it full time. And I feel like making is really expanded, or like the definition of
Hmm.
making. Even when you read some of the annual reports for some of the power tool companies, they're talking about
Right.
makers, right? And their customers as
Right.
makers, building buildings and things like that. So, I see the pro, this particular tool is really, it's starting where you've got a business going and you want to take it to that next level in terms of profitability because you want to do it
Hmm.
faster or you want to be able to make bigger things, all the way up through more of our larger customers where they already have a multi-million-dollar business going, or they're a department within a major corporation and they just want something that's bigger, more reliable, kind of faster,
Hmm.
right tool for the right job. And that's kind of the zone that I see. But in terms of people like just getting started, it's probably like that second step
Yeah.
that you get to it as opposed to like the first one.
Right, right, right. So I think you mentioned it, but just in terms of raw speed, not in terms of speed of like you can do more stuff in a space, but like how much faster is
Yeah.
this over the normal X-Carve?
Yeah. So what I said yesterday, I was quoting, it was really material removal rate.
Okay.
So it's up to 25. What we've so far seen is you can remove material up to 25 times faster.
Gotcha.
But obviously, like the speed trade-off
Mm.
also is like the finish trade-off.
Right.
And so you just have to decide, depending on what you're doing and how much finishing you want to do afterwards, where you would choose to use it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is Pro Color Graphics. They're asking, is it capable of doing 2.5 or 3D routing?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Do you see, what do you recommend when folks ask that? Do you say you should go with VCarve or get into this? Like, how do you guys get that question a lot? And kind of what do you recommend if people are interested in it?
So yeah, I mean, Easel Pro does V carving, so you can do that. It doesn't at this time. It doesn't do complex
Mm-hmm.
curves, and so different people. Most people for complex curves at this time are either using Fusion 360 or Aspire
Aspire, okay.
when they're importing. But it's kind of whatever you feel comfortable with. You can import G code from any CAM package
Mm-hmm.
into Easel and run it on the machine. But to do those complex curves, you do need a ball end mill. And so
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do. I was doing some 2.5 stuff yesterday, making like a sign for like the haunted mansion for Halloween. And yeah, super easy. Just bring it right in. And it was cool because you could still see like all the toolpaths and stuff show up in Easel doing like the normal G code. But that's good. Well, I don't want to take up a ton of your time. I appreciate you jumping on real quick when I shot you an email because I know you guys announced it yesterday. But for people that are interested, I know you guys have a promo going on right now. How long does that go till?
so the current promotion goes till November 5th, and it's 45% off with free shipping. So it's like I don't want to misquote the price. Hold on, let me just. Yeah, so the big one, the 4x4 is $64.95, or as low as $166 if you pay monthly with a firm. And the 4x2 is $5,495, or 140 bucks a month if you pay monthly with the firm. And both of those include all those things I mentioned. So it includes the dust collector, it includes the wasteboard and 3 bits to get you started: the 1/4-inch bit, the planing bit, and the V bit. It also includes the 1-year warranty, and it includes obviously like all the hardware components, spindle, VFD,
Okay.
all integrated, plug and play. And it also includes free shipping and 3 years of Easel Pro,
Gotcha.
all included in that price. So
Oh, cool.
there's a lot in there. It's not just the machine.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I must have missed the Easel Pro part because that's what is it? Is that 20 a month right now? Is that right?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you got 3 years in there, all included.
Sweet. And that's just inventables.com, just a big, and then right at the top, right?
Yeah. So if you go to inventables.com, it says Meet X-Carve Pro. There's a big button there, and then you click it, and you can see the video that we showed yesterday, and then you can click pre-order, or I guess the button says Learn More. Click that, and then you can click pre-order now to take you to the
Cool.
top.
Well, thank you so much for chatting. It was a blast. Really cool to see what you guys are doing, and I'm real excited to see what people make with it. So it's gonna be fun once it starts getting out even more.
Cool. All right. Thanks
Thank
a lot.